whenever we're trying to figure something out, like whenever we're trying to, um, whenever we're questioning something, right? Anything, or we're trying to solve a problem. Um, One of the issues that I think happens when we're attempting to answer a question is how we ask it. When we're attempting to figure things out is how what we focus on and what we're figuring out. And I think this is where ask comes in. So when we talk about ask, we see asking as a very passive process or a very just a non-active process. So I say, hey, can I have a piece of chocolate? Or like, hey, boss, can I have a raise? But to ask, when we break that down in acronym form, ask is act seeking knowledge, right? Act seeking knowledge. So the first part of act seeking knowledge is that you have to be willing to take to act. Part of act is knowing, how you're acting, what phase, where you are in what it is that you're looking for, and taking action, being unafraid to take action, right? That's the first part of ask. So if I go, for example, to ask my boss for a raise, but I haven't been doing my job or I haven't been doing the things that would reflect that. If I'm not at a place, I just started the company, I'm not at in a phase, in a stage where I should be asking that, and I'm not, acting, I don't have the attitude as someone who would deserve a raise. I'm not approaching the work in a certain way. Even if I'm doing it, I'm probably not going to get it. So that's the first part of ask, which is act, right? The second part is seeking. And you have to actively seek the thing that you want, right? And when we talk about seeking, there are 4 things that come with seeking. Actually, 5 things that come with seeking. There's openness, there's honesty, there's sincerity, there's authenticity, and there's intention, right? So the first part of seeking anything is that you have to be open. You have to be available to receive the thing. It's the equivalent of like if I were to be looking for a certain book and I'm not looking at the bookshelf with my eyes closed, right? I'm not open. My eyes aren't open. I am not open and available to see what it is that I'm looking for. So that's the first part, is openness, right? And then there's an honesty. So if I was to go for that bookshelf and I was to be looking for a book on achieving my dreams, for example, but then I found a book on staying in my job better, and I were to say, well, I guess that's kind of the book I want. No, it's not. You're not being honest. Like, that is not the book you're looking for, right? So seeking something is not just about being open and being available, being able to be actively looking for it and seeing it, but you have to also then be honest about what it is that you want. Like if I go to ask my boss for a raise and I'm like, I kind of, maybe, somewhat, I was wondering if you could. Like, no. Hey, can I get a raise? That's the honest thing that you want. And you need to be honest about that. But then you also need to be sincere. And sincere is kind of the next part of that process. So it's not enough that you are simply just acknowledging that what you want, but you have to actually mean it. You have to actually kind of believe that that is something that you can then get. People can tell when you're being sincere. It is so obvious. It is the most obvious thing ever when people are being sincere. And it separates whether you get the things you want in life or not, like a raise, for example. I don't know why raise is the thing that I'm using for this example. That's really interesting. Anyway, but so the next part is not just being sincere, but being authentic, right? And being authentic means that you are the person that's asking. You are being yourself when you're asking for these things, right? So you're not the employee next to you who's doing whatever it is that they're doing. And you're not your boss, so you can't go and demand that you get a raise, right? You have to ask. So being authentic about where you are and who you are is going to allow you to ask for what you actually want, right? And it's going to actually to seek that out. And the last part is the intention. So why? Why are you asking for this? Why are you seeking what it is that you're seeking? To know your purpose behind that gives you the power and the presence, and it actually fuels the other 4 things. So when we're seeking knowledge, the seeking part is being open, being honest, being sincere, being authentic, and being intentional. And finally, there's the knowledge piece. If you break down the word knowledge, it's know the ledge, right? You could see know the ledge, know ledge. So part of knowing the ledge is understanding that there are things that will always be at the edge of what we know. We often think about knowing as attaining something, but actually people, you got a guy like Socrates who says, all I know is that I don't know. So actually attaining information is about actually opening you up to things that you don't know. So you have to know the ledge, right? You have to know the ledge of where you are and where you want to go. And if you can understand these things, if you can act seeking knowledge, you'll often find yourself going towards the thing that you actually want. If not getting it, at least questing towards it. So ask a question. Take that quest. And I wish you the best in finding the answer. This is Spell It Out with Rhetorical Artz, Wordplay Wisdom.